Hello, football fans. Well, I'm here to talk about the rest of Week 13, the remaining 12 games, 11 on Sunday, and the Monday night game that rounded out the first week of the home stretch. So let's get to it. Oh boy, you know, remember when the Steelers were 4-1, were running away with the AFC North? Good times. But now with this loss, this bad loss to Buffalo in Pittsburgh, mind you, they've lost 5 out of 7. They are 6-6. They're out of first place via tiebreaker, and every racist and bigot in the country wants Tomlin fired solely because he has my pigment. Never mind the fact that Tomlin's been holding things down for years. Never mind the fact that he has the best resume out of all the coaches. Never mind the fact that many fan bases will want their coaches canned just to get him. In the minds of people who hate people who look like me, it's Tomlin's fault, even though it's not. I mean, but bottom line is, uh, Steelers need to fix this. They need to fix this. They are they're out of playoff. They're behind the playoff line in early December now on their quarterback's birthday. Rodgers turns 42 today. And I mentioned the Ravens. That's who was in first place. That's also who the Steelers face next in Baltimore. That's a pivotal game. The winner will have the winner will have that head-to-head edge at the moment because they play again on the I think it's on the final week of the season that they play again in Pittsburgh. But they need this one. They really need this one. They got to win this. Otherwise, the shouting is going to get much louder when it comes to poor Tomlin. Speaking of divisions, guess who's leading the AFC South? The AFC South ran into each other again. It was Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Houston, Indy, and Indy, as usual, fizzled. So Indy turned up their fraud trait just a bit more and let the Houston Texans waltz in their place and beat them. And the Jags tap danced all over the Titans, and as a result, we have a first place tie, and it's Jacksonville with the tiebreaker. Common opponents does it. Uh, yeah, common opponents does it. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that AFC South. Oh, and Indy and Jacksonville they play each other. They play each other in Jacksonville for the division lead. That's going to be a good one. Of course, six teams faced elimination in Week 13, and four of them saw their seasons end. I mentioned the Titans. That loss put ended their season. The Cardinals, the only team they beat this season, they're done as well. So are the Saints. So are the Raiders. The Jets avoided elimination, and Washington avoided elimination when somebody won the Black Friday game. Washington's elimination scenario needed part of Washington's elimination scenario needed Bears Eagles to end tied. It didn't, so they live on for another week, even though they lost in overtime to Denver. Clearly, this was the upset of the week. Even though the Panthers on the rise, a lot of people had the Rams kind of demolishing them. That didn't happen. What happened was a close game that saw Stafford kind of fizzle through two picks and lost a fumble, and Carolina was just all over it. Carolina Carolina beat the Rams to keep in pace with the Bucks. It's still a tight race in that NFC South. Oh, and the Bucks and Panthers they'll play each other for another. I think it's two. Well, it's 2 weeks now because we're pretty much in week 14 now. Um, and as for the Rams, that loss knocked them out of the number one spot. And who's number one in the conference? The Bears. Yeah, the Bears are number one in the conference. Well, at least until after Sunday. But it's wild in that NFC. Very wild. Of course, the Seahawks and Niners capitalized on the Rams' loss. And speaking of capitalized, the Patriots. Oh boy, the Patriots really well. We kind of knew a few weeks ago that they were back, but they're really back now. They are just winning, 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 winning. They got to 11 wins. They beat the Giants, who were already eliminated. They were eliminated before Thanksgiving. And of course, that win moved them back into number one in the AFC, just a half game ahead of the Broncos. And of course, they have a bye coming up. They're one of the last four teams to have a bye, and it's coming up on week 14. The two teams who played last night, the Patriots, Giants, the Niners, and the Panthers, they are all off on week 14. Speaking of, let's talk about that. Week 14 will kick off on Thursday with the two Thanksgiving the two Thanksgiving teams played each other again on a Thursday night. It's the Lions hosting the Cowboys, and well, it's basically a must-win for both teams. Even though Dallas has won 3 straight, they're still kind of in a must-win situation, and Detroit's definitely in a must-win situation, especially since they may be without Amon-Ra St. Brown again. So that's on Thursday Night Football. As for the rest of the action, like I said, you got three important division games in Week 14. Steelers and Ravens. Steelers and Ravens, who are tied for the AFC North. Colts and Jags, who are tied for the AFC South. And, of course, Bears, Packers. And the Bears lead the NFC North by half game. But the game's in Lambeau. We all know what happens to the Bears in Lambeau. It's like death and taxes. Sunday Night Football is another pivotal game. The Texans and the Chiefs. It's kind of a... Well, yeah, it's must-win for both, especially Kansas City. Because if Kansas City loses, they can pretty much forget it. And they can find themselves eliminated from the division race, which means for the first time in years, somebody else could win the AFC West. So, but that's Sunday Night Football, and Monday Night Football is the Eagles and the Chargers. Well, of course, the Chargers got a big win over the Raiders. As for the Eagles, they need something bad because they are fizzling fast. They could end up. If they're not careful, that division league could shrink even more. So that's what's in store for us in Week 14, which is the first full NFL week of the month of December. So that is my recap of Week 13. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe to get more. If you're on TikTok and Instagram, feel free to hit that follow button. And the link above, that's the link to my story on Vocal. Check it out when you can. And I'll be back later on this week to discuss the playoff picture entering Week 14. So stay tuned.